I'm Deepak Chopra. You're watching New Realities.
Welcome to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and this program has been about the evolution of consciousness. What is the nature of our true spiritual being? Who are we? Why did we incarnate? And what's the purpose for this incarnation? What brings us here, and what are we here to do? So that's why I'm talking today to one of the great spiritual teachers of our time, who has thousands of followers worldwide. He has ashrams, he has environmental movements, he has so many 16,000 teachers he's trained. He's developed the Heartfulness movement, which is a great time on this planet to have a movement like that. His name is Daaji. Thanks for being my guest today.
Thank you, Alan. An honor to meet you.
Yes, what I like about India and Indian teachers is the tradition of spirituality that they can bring to the West. What makes your particular tradition or teachings stand out from other, maybe Indian Hindu teachers?
Well, there exists polarity in everything in this world today. Mm-hmm. Polarization is at its extreme. And spiritual polarization started many millennia back, actually. Mm-hmm. And that was very unfortunate. Mm. My elders, my masters of the traditions, they felt that you cannot separate spiritual life and the material life that we are in. Cannot make them into two zones and say, I will live only this or I will live only that.
Right.
Right? And that polarizes immensely, and that destroys the fabric of wholeness. He said, what really happens, and I will tell you a personal story of mine that I really took off, and because of the millennia long influence on human psyche of Indian youth, they say, okay, why don't you become a celibate and ascetic and wander in search of peace or in search of God? So I took that inspiration and moved on sometime when I was 18, in one of my summer vacations from college. And I took off early morning from my home without telling anyone that I'm taking this course. I was afraid that my family would stop me, so I could not inform. Anyway, I go to the riverside and there was a beautiful temple. I spent the whole day there. And with that temple, there were wandering ascetics. They are called Aghoris.
Aghoris, yeah. I know Aghoris, yeah.
Yeah, and by the sunset, in the evening time, when elderly Aghori comes to me and says, boy, why are you here? I said, look, would you become my master, my guide, my teacher, so that you can guide me on the path of spirituality? He was an elderly person, and he said, with a lot of compassion, with tears, wet eyes, he said, look, I left my home almost at around the same age as yours now. I'm 80 plus. And I have merely remained a beggar. I haven't attained anything, let alone peace of mind, or further the realization of the ultimate. So he told me, please go back home. Your guru, your master will find you one day. And true to his words, within a month, a friend of mine, he said, look, I'll take you to one lady, she'll put you in trance right away. And she happened to be the preceptor, the trainer of this particular Heartfulness way of meditation. And she introduced me to the system. And there she explained me the uniqueness of this particular methodology. First thing is, he said, God is not lost, that you have to look for him. Second thing, God would not have created two sexes if one was enough. There is a purpose of marriage. And in a family life, you can learn to sacrifice for each other, learn to love each other. Unless we have this exercise of love within the family, only then you're able to extend it beyond your families. And after all, when we say God is love, and it is also true, the reverse of it, that love is God. Both are true. So I was very impressed by this initial philosophizing of the path I was to enter. But what impressed me the most was the experience in the very first session of meditation. And that experience was so profound that yes, this is the path for me. They don't talk much of philosophies. They talk only of experiencing something. Because it does not matter how many belief systems you have, however great it could be, but unless you experience your belief is not strengthened.
Was your experience then that was so transformational?
Oh, I had instantaneous state of samadhi. I was almost levitating, not physically, but I felt my body consciousness was zapped, gone. I felt no sensation at all. I was completely gone. And when the consciousness little by little descended into me, I felt very centered and very peaceful, very content that yes, I have arrived home. That feeling of absolute peace was there.
So you began your spiritual path with that
With that.
samadhi type experience, but how were you able to balance, having a family, wife, children, because that's where the material world comes in, with the beautiful meditation?
Well, when I started meditating, I was a student of pharmacy. And actually, every morning I would meditate. And that would sharpen my mind, it will make it so fresh. And it could absorb things faster than my other colleagues. Your intuitive ability all just skyrockets. There's another practice within this heartfulness offerings. It's called cleaning, how we clean our emotional baggage. And around that age, 17, 18, 19, we tend to accumulate so much of emotional baggage. I think I could protect myself with that. So there was a greater clarity because of meditation during my study times. After marriage, came to United States, started pharmacy. Before that, I had to clear the exams for certification. So meditation again became very, very helpful to me because within a week of study, I could clear the New York State Board, California State Board, and just like that, like that. So that I give a lot of credit to this inward attention to our.
But people get sucked into that world. How were you able to, because maybe you have a deep connection to spirit, maybe how you didn't get sucked in to that world?
No, not really, because the system of meditation which is being offered, if I had to give an example, if you are walking with a crutch or a cane, because you need it, right? Most often people are unable to focus on the mind, or focus with the mind, or focus within the mind, see? Whichever vocabulary you want to use. But with the flow of energy that comes from the trainer, they regulate that flow in such a way that your present awareness, your consciousness, is taken up as if you are physically taken in a wheelchair, like that your consciousness is somehow hijacked, pulled up into a higher level of consciousness, despite of ourselves. And you're able to experience that.
That's what you teach.
That's what we teach. That
the
it's
heart
okay.
center.
If you can't manage your mind, don't worry. You have problems, don't worry. You don't believe in God, Don't worry.
Just do the practice.
Just meditate on one idea that there is presence of the source of all life within me, in my heart, and that is attracting my attention inward. That's all. And the trainer does the rest of the job.
So the student just centers on their heart and knows that heart's the source of everything.
Correct.
And do they say a mantra? Do they say...
No, mantra will take you away from inward movement. Because you see, dhyan in Sanskrit, unlike meditation, has a different meaning. Meditation is all about focused mind, right?
Right.
And you can focus on known objects.
Known.
Known.
Only known objects. Yeah, okay.
How can you focus on unknown?
Well, you can't.
Divinity.
Yeah, you
right?
can't focus.
So one has to transcend the mind itself. And dhyana, which is the real name in Sanskrit, is to go beyond your mind. And that energy transmission or pranahuti does lift our mind, takes it beyond. We transcend the mind. And what happens when we transcend the mind? It's not that the function of the mind is stopped. But the thinking now is slowly shifting to feelings. So the logic ends and the feelings begin.
Because that's why we're really here, to feel.
To feel, yes.
So to do this, I mean, and you've done this that first time with this teacher, was that? And you've refined that practice, so...
It's very simple and very interesting. And many years, or rather many months later, I met the founder of the system during my vacation time. That was again a kind of a quantum leap in my consciousness after meeting him.
So what was the progress then? You started out eager to know God, Spirit, and then when you went deeper, how did you change? What did you notice about yourself?
I remained more focused within. There was a lot of joy in the heart. There was peace. There was purpose in life. So I felt content, immense content within myself, that I have arrived home and I don't have to run around for anything. And when I really started business also later in New York City, it didn't stop me. Because the teaching, the philosophy of the system is very unique. As you were asking, what is the uniqueness of this? For example, when you are partaking your meals, right? Nothing stops you from going inward,
right,
and be with yourself, and be in touch with that, what we call that core, the feeling of love inside, right? Likewise, whenever, as a pharmacist, I was accepting prescription, processing the prescription,
right,
and consulting the patients. These are external acts, but mentally, you are in tune within your heart. And this is a training.
It is.
It is a training.
So are you happy now? Would you say you found peace?
I think it will be too bold a statement if I say peace is a child's play in this journey.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, peace is just a toy.
So what is the state of consciousness you would say that you're at or in?
I don't know.
Well, thank you. That's
I really don't know, but something, if you take it away from me, I'll be like a fish out of water.
So you are in a state of, I mean, you have a lot of responsibilities. You have houses and ashrams and people and staff, but that doesn't shake up the internal pride, right? Right.
And that's what the basic training is of the system. I'll give you a small example. Like when we were children, we learned bicycling. Right? But before that, you were on tricycle with the supporting wheels on the back. One of our parents would help. Okay, now you paddle. And then time comes you are on just two wheels and no support. And then a time comes you are going to school on your bike, singing songs, letting go of your hands, watching the traffic signals at the same time, and conversing with friends and thinking of what to relax. So many things are happening, but your legs are busy paddling.
Yeah.
They don't stop. So likewise, through meditation, we come at such a meditative state that you are heartfully paddling that meditative state within you, and at the same time you are interacting with the world.
So you could be here talking, but still keeping that same inner peace. You know what's so interesting also about your teachings and work is the spiritual anatomy you outline in these books. A lot of people don't talk about the spiritual anatomy. They just talk about the physical anatomy. They'll talk about the intersection between the spirit, the physical, and the, higher dimension.
Well, physical manifestation it has only one dimension to it.
Right. Right.
The spiritual or spirituality has multiple dimensions based on which energy vortex you are at within your physical body. For example, if you are on the heart chakra, or you are on a fire chakra or water chakra, or you are here at the Trikuti, or you are a Sahasradal Kamal, the dimension of consciousness will change.
Yeah.
You see? And all these chakras are not imaginary or hypothetical chakras, but in heartfulness way, as we go through this energy transmission from chakra to chakra, as we move, you are able to feel various climate of those locations.
Yeah.
By climate, I mean your moods, your intensity of consciousness, your awareness, your perception. It completely it would change.
Depending on where the focus is, of course.
Where you are at that particular moment in your journey.
Are there chakras above the body too? You have the seventh, and then are there eighth? No.
We have so far, understood 7 chakras, but there are more than that. In fact, there are infinite chakras.
Where are those chakras?
Everywhere.
Are they in the
in the body?
In the body.
Muladhara is well known, Swadhisthana, Manipur, the heart. But we have my master, my guide, he had invented, he found, he realized that there are much more. And he said there are 16 main chakras, though there are infinite chakras between each chakra also. Yeah. And a person of perception can really, can say, okay, I feel here, I feel like here, I feel something like that. And you can write a beautiful journal out of your own experiences as you move on.
So the practitioner then focuses on all these 16 chakras and shifts their consciousness to the energy vibration of those chakras. But I have to ask you about one chapter in here, the secret ingredient.
Okay.
What is the secret ingredient?
Well, to be secret ingredient, from our side,
Yeah.
it is always an attitude. With what attitude one is approaching the spiritual path. And from the other side, you don't need any attitude, because that subject is always waiting, waiting for purity. So one can, there is a general belief of transcending oneself or one's soul into heaven.
Into heaven, yeah.
Right? There is nothing wrong with this idea. But when the heart is so pure and simple, innocent, then divinity would find you. It's like, these heat-seeking missiles. they they target you and boom. They even this what we call honeybees or butterflies, they'll find where the flowers are and which flower to associate with. Even if the flower is blooming in the crevices of the rocks, honeybee will find it where it is. So if such is the case, how can divinity not find you, find the heart that is so pure?
Yeah, let's talk about divinity and God for a second, because it seems like your practice is the inner journey. It's not about these deities, Shiva, Brahma. I mean, maybe it is, but it starts here first, the inner. Am I right, or is there
Well,
other?
without the inner deity, how would you even worship or consider outer deity?
So we start with our own inner deity.
Inner deity.
We are divine. You're saying.
Of course.
Okay, I believe that, but a lot of teachers say no, it's out there, or other religions say it's out there.
Well, it's like insulting the inner deity and say you are outside. How can there ever be peace? You see, I often give this example of a mother delivering a baby. So much of pain, right? But with the first signature of baby's arrival is noted with a gentle cry of a baby. And mother, howsoever pain she be in, she'll smile.
Yeah.
That's a sign. That signature shows that some life force has come along with the baby. If that life force was not there, baby would not cry.
Right.
And doctors and nurses would go hither, thither, frantically trying to make this baby breathe or resuscitate the heart and tap the baby.
Right.
That's a sign. And that force or the soul or jiva or whatever you like to call it, names don't matter. So that entity is with us and it will continue until the moment, we breathe our last. So that deity, that power, that life force is within us. And when we search for this life giver outside, it is humiliating to the inner deity. So how can you ever have peace of mind? Your direction of search is wrong.
That deity actually is us. It's not. It is the thing. With the personality is not us. The deity is us. I feels like
it is.
it is.
It is. And without that, we just cannot even have this discussion.
Right.
Imagine it says, Alan, tonight I'm going.
Not so fast.
Not so fast, right? And have we ever said thank you?
To the deity. Yeah, well.
And that's what meditation is all about, right? To be thankful, to be grateful to that inner life-giving force.
A place where you merge the personality and the deity, you samadhi, the mahas, or the high states of consciousness is a coming together of both.
It's all one then. See?
Yes.
My individual consciousness and the supreme consciousness, they merge. But the idea is to go beyond all this and see what is there that supports his consciousness. See, up to a certain extent, we are too playful with consciousness. So I love to venture into it. But the real search would be to find what is it that supports the consciousness.
Yeah. What have you found?
It is only one force, whom we call the potential, called God.
But it's the deity. It's the same in me and you and everyone else.
Yes.
And that's what you're calling.
Yes.
So what are these? What's the purpose of the incarnation? If we're just returning back, if this deity is...
I'm laughing because often I get this question.
Okay.
In one of my meditation, I got this realization I give you a small example.
Yeah.
Let's suppose I have $1 million and give it to my son. Boy, make sure you grow with this. Use it wisely. After 20 years, he comes up and said, Dad, I kept it so nicely, this $1 million. Here it is, writes a check. Would I be happy? Because at the rate of inflation, that 1 million has now become 200,000.
Right.
I would feel hurt in my heart and say, you stupid son, what the hell did you do with this money? You should have invested. You should have multiplied it. So when from the source we left, suppose with an X potential, and when I have to return back to the source, it better be 10x or 100x or million x.
Yeah.
That is the purpose.
Experience, you're saying.
Through
And
experience is the beginning of laying the foundation of your belief. For example, I believe in Lord Jesus, for example. Okay. Why do I believe? Because my parents taught me so. Or some people believe in Krishna or Shiva. Doesn't matter. Belief is good. Believing is better than not believing. I believe that's it. But to remain there,
right.
it's ignorance. I have to actualize my belief through experience. It is the experience that backs my knowledge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But having experienced something, it's not enough. I'll share with you an example that will convince you that, I have experienced God. Don't boast. There's something greater waiting. Experience is better, but something greater is also waiting. Suppose I come to your private island.
Okay.
And Alan says, Daaji, enjoyed my island. And
I'm happy to that.
be happy.
Yes.
I spent 3 months, 6 months at your island, and I enjoy your hospitality.
Okay.
And then I said, oh, wow, Alan is so rich. I wish I was also as rich. So hospitality, rather the rich hospitality, is experienced. But deep down in your heart, you crave that I wish I was also as rich. So divine experiences can be great. To become divine is greater.
Yes. But, and in a sense, we are the divine that people say, come in, and we forget we're the divine, and we return.
Awareness.
But to experience the divine in form, actually, probably increases the divine potential, right?
In the form, actually, it will shortchange you.
It will what?
Shortchange means it
Shortchange you.
For example, how many people could understand the divinity of Lord Jesus in his lifetime?
Right.
Or that of Krishna or Moses
Or Buddha,
or anyone for that matter. No one understood them. So if while rubbing the shoulders with divine personalities of that order, no one could understand, how will you understand Jesus by watching the cross or the statue of Krishna or a Shiva? I think you do find some comfort by looking at such external things, external forms. But every religion has its esoteric form also, mystical form, which says nothing wrong in having approach to this divinity through a form. But time must come when you must transcend this form, experience the formlessness, the omnipresence of divinity.
Yeah, I agree with everything. I totally agree, yes. And there's a movement, I think, in this country to move towards that divinity. And I think things are changing here in the West, so people have more of an idea of what you're talking about. Do you get the sense that things are changing on the planet? Or is it the same old story?
Well, there is a greater awakening and there is a greater,
Forget
I
it.
would say, inquiry into the whole thing. They have lost, the youth have lost this idea of religion. They're more into spirituality.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
Excellent thing, actually.
Good.
Because there is a hollowness, emptiness with the ritualistic religious approaches
Yeah.
that doesn't give satisfaction or convincing. It has to be convinced, heart has to be convinced before you can bow down, say, I do believe in God. Religions don't teach you that. In fact, religions makes you fight over philosophical differences.
Exactly.
And that is repelling.
Well, I think what you offer is what you said, experience. It's not philosophy.
No.
That's what makes your teachings different.
You create your own philosophy based on your own experience.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, you are on your own tour.
So people watching now, where should they start? With the meditation and then they have their own experience?
Yes, go through these practices day after day and see how within few months the entire thing changes. Your life, the course of your life will change. But your consciousness will change right from the first day.
So this is your mission, to help awaken that divinity.
Sure.
Okay. I like it. I agree with everything you've said.
And finally, I would say the uniqueness of this.
Yes, I started with that. Yes, I'm glad you came back to it.
The uniqueness of the system, when one of the meditators who was practicing under my guide, this happened in Washington, D.C. My guide was visiting at that time, Washington, D.C., and they had an open house. And those days, my guide was allowed to take only $20 out of India. There was a restriction. Anyway, so this meditator handed over $50 bill, and the old man didn't know what that currency was. So he asked the person accompanying him, General Secretary of the organization, what is this? He said, Abuji, he's giving you $50. So he reluctantly said, God is not for sale. If God could be for sale, or the ultimate vidya, or the knowledge is for sale, how much would you pay? And if you could pay, why do you need God?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have this tradition of not to charge.
Ah.
It's free. Anyone can meditate free of charge. And you will have your own personal trainer. You can just log in and someone will always be with you, a volunteer. Suppose at 2 o'clock at midnight, or past midnight, you feel like meditating. Whom would you call anyway?
So anyone watching this video can go to the website, go in, get the trainer for free, and start the practice. That's, I can't argue with that. No, that's nice. That's
the
very
privacy of your own home, and you don't have to touch the feet of the master.
Yeah.
You collect only the dust.
So you don't put yourself up as a high guru. You're just a deliverer of the message of the deities of the self.
It will be a crime to think oneself as a guru.
Right. Okay. Tell those gurus right.
Well, I always tell them directly and indirectly that don't become business people. That for one introductory session, $200. Right. Second stage session, $2,000. Third stage, $20,000. I mean, where is it going to end?
Right. No, what you're offering people is a technique to find themselves.
That's it.
And I think that's
And definitely, peace is guaranteed.
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 Money back? No, it's not
You're not
costing.
paying anyway.
I think I'm going to try it and see. I mean, I'm sort of peaceful, but I can always be more peaceful. Thank you, Daaji, for your work and your commitment to supporting the planet and awakening.
Thanks a lot. Good to see you.
Good to meet you and see you. It was a privilege to interview Daaji, and that's why I want to invite everyone to experience an afternoon with Bruce Lipton, who's a pioneer and foremost leader in the field of science and consciousness, like Daaji. Here's the invite. Alan Steinfeld of New Realities and Mitchell Rabin of A Better World are very happy to be bringing world-renowned biologist, mystic, philosopher Bruce Lipton to New York Saturday, August 3rd for an epic Convergence of Science and Spirit masterclass. And the renowned songwriter-singer Kristen Hoffman will do the opening number for the event. Thanks, Kristen. I asked Bruce to tell me what the 6-hour workshop in New York will all be about.
You know what it's all about? Knowledge is power, but here's what makes it interesting. Knowledge of self, which turns into self-empowerment. To become the creator instead of the presumed victim is all this new science.
For tickets for the Bruce Lipton event in New York, August 3rd, go to www.betterworld.net/events-2 or use the QR code right now. We really want people there to see this work. Thank you.